Hello everyone. Today I thought I would record a video more focused towards the actual creators on OnlyFans. So in this case, the models, both male and female creators. I have both male and female creators reaching out for management, and I just thought that I would share my experiences from the management point of view, and particularly on like the marketing perspective, like the marketing perspective towards managing an OnlyFans, which is pretty much my main focus. That is the problem that we generally solve for creators as an agency. It's bringing a little bit of structure and guidance and sort of like mentorship into what they should be doing to maximize their revenue. But the biggest, and I would say like the most value that we deliver as an agency is delivering traffic to models, bringing them customers essentially. So the first question that I would ask anyone who is interested in starting an OnlyFans is, do you have a way to generate traffic? And you may have like a bit of an audience already on Instagram, on Twitter. Like if it's on YouTube, it would be very, very good on TikTok or whatever it is. So you can of course like kind of utilize that audience. But the thing that we often find is most creators that we find applying to join us, they have had, maybe they started an OnlyFans 4 months ago and they had a fantastic first month. Let's say she made like $8,000. She launched an OnlyFans profile and she sold to her existing audience. She was posting Instagram stories. She was doing some stuff there, and loads of the guys who liked her signed up for her OnlyFans and they bought some content for her. But then, unfortunately, what you often see is after like week number two, the revenue just plummets, and she's gone from doing $8,000 to $10,000 perhaps, and now she's down at like 800. And the reason for that is because in most cases, most models don't have consistent ways of bringing in new and mosquito don't have ways of bringing in um, like consistent traffic into their onto their OnlyFans page. They're able to do like a one-time promotion through their existing audience, people that they know, and their Instagram followers that perhaps they've built up over the years. But once they've kind of utilized that audience, there's kind of very little that they can do. So ask yourself the question of, do you have a way to bring followers over? And one way to check it is how quickly does your audience on Instagram grow, for example? Do you have a growing audience? If you do, then you can expect your OnlyFans followers to continue growing after that. If you've been stuck at 5,000 followers for the past 6 months, you're going to need to figure out a way to be able to bring over traffic consistently to that OnlyFans page. Some of the girls that we see that perform incredibly well are Twitch streamers, because they're going on streaming every day. They're reaching a new audience, and they often have like fans and followers who are very like super fans, as we would say, who will come straight over, and they're very active in purchasing like pay-per-view content. YouTube is a great one. TikTok is also a great one, but TikTok isn't quite as reliable. It's kind of like up and down. We often see creators go through like good and bad periods. But yeah, I'm simply addressing this because most of the applications that we have to join our agency, they are from models who have tried themselves. They've generally done OnlyFans for less than 6 months, normally about 3 to 6 months. They've had a very good first month and they thought everything is going great, but then they very quickly realized that they haven't got a way to consistently drive traffic over to maintain a good amounts of earnings. So do you have a good way of pushing traffic over to your OnlyFans? And if not, how are you going to start setting one up? And again, I've kind of mentioned some of the ones that I recommend that bring over like consistent high quality traffic. Dating apps are also very good, but you kind of need to operate them at scale. Don't think that you can just set up one Tinder app on your phone and you're going to make loads of money. You would need to set up a lot of dating apps, which if you can acquire a lot of phones for, you could set up yourself, or you can look at outsourcing to the Philippines. Next thing to kind of qualify is how much are you comfortable showing, and this is something that I kind of I would suggest like really thinking about, and you can kind of be pretty flexible on this. Like there's girls out there who only want to show their feet, guys out there who only want to show their feet as well. I've come across that a couple of times now. Where there's other creators who only are willing to go as far as doing like topless content, and that's absolutely fine. I think that you should like establish your boundaries prior to kind of going into this. But what we do often find is most creators will end up kind of expanding their boundaries as they go further into this, as they kind of get a bit more comfortable. For example, a lot of creators will come on saying they're only happy to do topless content, and then that kind of gives an exclusivity feel to like the fully nude content that, and so the customers are going to be requesting, can we, like, they'll be offering pretty high amounts of money just for nude pictures and short videos and so on. So the more exclusive you make your nudity, the higher the value of that perceived content is. So there's quite an interesting strategy that we often see with streamers. If they join us, they often say they're only happy to start off by selling topless content, for example. That's like as far as they will go. And then if they are comfortable to do it after about 3 months, when they see the type of money that's being offered to them to sell some of this content, they often change their minds, and we will end up doing like a big launch where we sell like the fully nude content, which these customers have been chasing after for months. So we're able to attach a very nice price tag to it. Next thing to establish is how many hours are you willing to work per day. So this is a pretty, at least for like the strategies that we're doing currently, I think a lot of models kind of underestimate how much work there is that goes into managing an OnlyFans page, particularly when they, like if they're kind of just starting out. If it's very early stages, unfortunately, it's not a case of like you can take your top off and you'll be earning 30K per month anymore. Like maybe during a couple of years ago during COVID, when it wasn't quite so competitive, you stood a better chance of achieving something like that. Nowadays, OnlyFans is hyper competitive. It's important to understand that. If you just go onto Reddit, onto any of these like adult subreddits, you're going to see the competition between these different girls, and how many people are trying to promote their OnlyFans profiles. If you go onto TikTok, you'll see the exact same thing. It's very competitive now, which means that we have to really put in the work on creating the content. So currently with most creators that we work with, we try to have like a base level of 6 hours per day working time. And that time for our creators is solely focused on creating content. So as an agency, we will handle everything else in terms of chatting to the client, in terms of distributing the content, in terms of creating the social media accounts, in terms of the accounting, dealing with any leaked content, custom requests our team will handle and then send over to the creator. But of course, that does still have to be handled by the creator. And any other aspect of management that isn't related to content is handled by our own team. And so we try to give our creators like 6 hours per day. That is our like set time that we want them, and that is solely focused on creating content. So if you're going to be managing everything yourself, you're going to have to factor in, you either work less hours creating content, spending time managing the other parts of the business as well. And that is the thing you'll notice I said business there. OnlyFans is a business, and it needs to be treated as such. Like I've been running companies for like 10 years now, with up to like 130 employees in my last company, which I sold. OnlyFans needs to be treated as a business. You shouldn't be looking at it as, if you want to be making serious money anyway, if you're happy with like a couple of $1,000 shooting pictures from your bedroom and replying to all the messages yourself, that is definitely possible. If you want to be hitting like the serious numbers, OnlyFans needs to be treated as a business, needs to be taken very seriously. For each of our creators, we have about 8 to 12 employees, depending on the size of the creator. There will be people managing the inbox. It will be the account manager of the OnlyFans creator. And then it will be social media marketers who are creating accounts, who are uploading TikToks, who are dealing with Instagram reels and so on, who are creating dating apps and so on. And so it is literally a business. We also have an accounting team, although that's not limited to one particular creator. And we also have a lawyer who specifically handles with DMCA takedowns or content leaks whenever there's leaked content. they will send a takedown letter to the website, or initiate one with Google to make sure that leaked content is removed from the public web. So they are kind of all things that, as a creator, you should be looking into if you want to be if you want to be making like serious money from your account. By serious money, I kind of mean anything like 20 to 30k plus. You kind of need chatters, and again, it's not to take away from the creator at all. It's just there's so many different moving parts to OnlyFans that you kind of need assistance. And notice that the name of the job, creator, meaning content creator, the most valuable thing the owner of the OnlyFans page can actually do is focused fully on creating content. That is why, as an agency, we try to make it our responsibility to handle every other aspect of OnlyFans marketing and management, so that the content creator is free and has absolutely nothing else to worry about aside from making content. Next thing up is, do you know? Yeah, so it kind of leads on to a following point. But do you know girls who are successful on OnlyFans yourself? And I don't mean girls that you're kind of looking at online. I mean preferably creators that you know in real life who are doing good money, and talk to them about their experiences. And I think the thing that you'll find in common with all of them is when you actually talk to them and go into, they may tell you how much money they're making, but then when you actually ask in a bit more detail about how much work actually goes into the OnlyFans, into the promotion, and everything like that, you will notice it's not an easy job. It requires a lot of time. It requires a lot of effort, and it requires, generally at the start of it, a bit of patience. But yeah, it's not a case of, you take your bra off and you're going to be making 30k per month. It's competitive, and you really need to put in the hours in terms of promotion. So talk to anyone that you know in real life who's kind of seeing success from it, and just understand what they actually do day to day and how much time they actually put into OnlyFans, into achieving the types of numbers that they do. If they're successful, and you'll kind of realize that, yeah, you need to be really quite committed. Otherwise, there's other very hungry creators out there who are putting in the time, who are producing the content, and it's very, very hard to compete with them if you haven't got the same work ethic. The next thing to mention is a question that I kind of get all the time, which is, what am I? How do I look? Do I look good enough for OnlyFans, or what are my, yeah, like, and or anything along those lines, anything kind of looks related. And I'll tell you now, OnlyFans is nothing to do with the looks. It, like, people maybe won't even believe me when I'm saying this now. It literally isn't. The money in OnlyFans is in niching down, is in getting very, very specific, on the type of people that you're promoting to. Works very, very well, particularly at the moment. So, Japanese and anime, these e-girls, are really performing very well. Trans creators are also very, very popular at the moment. There's a saying in the industry of, if you're managing a trans creator, they ask you what color is your Lamborghini. So yeah, it's very, very popular. And of course, you don't need to be a trans creator to make money. I'm simply illustrating the fact that niching down on these very specific kind of fetishes is what will lead to a lot of money. Dwarfs are also very, very popular at the moment. I've never managed any dwarfs, I must say. But I do know of an agency who, if there is a dwarf that will sign with them, there's a $25,000 signing bonus. So there's, like I said, there's some pretty big money like in the niches. So don't worry about your particular looks or anything like that. Try to find other creators who are successful on OnlyFans and who are looking similar to you, and you can perhaps get some inspiration on what their niche is, and even talk to them. Like, the one great thing about OnlyFans is, or in fact, like, women creators in general, is, I think men generally try to keep their secrets in business and not share with anyone, but there's a lot of like communities and public forums such as Reddit, where these like female creators in most cases are sharing all their secrets on what they're doing, is what and what's working for them, kind of gossiping with each other, even talking about their fans and stuff, and the fetishes that they have and so on. But anyway, like, you can often direct message a creator and as long as they see the message, they will often actually help out. So you can look for similar girls in your niche, in who have similar looks to you, and see what their particular niche is. How are they marketing their profile? What are they seeing success from? And you can always try to kind of mirror your profile based off of that. But don't be put off by like your looks or anything like that at all. Like I'm completely like human as well, and of course as a manager you can even have some prejudgments on which models you think will do well, and I definitely have done throughout my time managing OnlyFans creators. And I guess it says something about me. Often I'm wrong. Often you will be very surprised about who ends up performing the best. And it comes down to work ethic, and if we're able to find a very successful niche for someone. So don't worry about looks or anything like that. I promise you, like there's something like 4 billion guys out in the world. There's more than enough kind of people out there to bring in a large audience and a lot of subscribers to your OnlyFans. Um, so don't worry about looks at all. It's literally, yeah, it's not even something that we look at with our models at all. It's literally all about the work ethic and can we find a very profitable niche for you, but mostly about the work ethic. Even a creator that hasn't got a niche, for example, like my girlfriend, we haven't really got a particular niche for her. She's kind of like a personal trainer because she's in good shape and used to be a personal trainer, and she does like 6 figures per month without us niching down into anything like gamer girl or something like that. So yeah, but don't worry about looks. Yeah, another point to kind of make is if you do grow your profile large enough, and if you do take this seriously, I'll just tell you the complete truth. Eventually, people are going to find you that you know. There's kind of no two ways about it. You can block your country from OnlyFans, that's completely fine. But nowadays, VPNs are very widely used, and a VPN will change your location. So just without people even meaning to, they will find your page. And if you're doing TikToks and Instagram Reels, if you grow your page to be large enough, there's going to be people that you grew up with, people maybe that you went to school with, um, people that will recognize you. You know, not always will like the parents find out, but there will definitely be like people that you know that will find you eventually. And I guess it kind of depends on those people if they choose to make a big problem out of you doing OnlyFans. But I think it's quite important for every creator to kind of be aware of that. We do a lot to anonymize our creators. We will create completely fake social media profiles. But if you grow your profile to be large enough, essentially it's only a matter of time before someone finds you. Like our creators, they reach millions of people per month through social media. They get millions of impressions per month, and eventually one of those people is going to be someone who knows that creator. So it's also just something to be aware of. If you are really going to take this seriously and make this like into your full-time career, and you want to grow into being a huge creator, eventually people that you know will find out what you're doing. So just quite important to be transparent on that. Um, Next up, what OnlyFans earnings are realistic? I mean, that kind of depends. If you are starting out yourself, I would start off with, and you've got no experience in marketing. And when I say marketing, I mean like real marketing. I don't mean like you've maybe done some editing on Canva and posted a few things on Instagram. I mean, had a job in marketing, growing businesses, growing startups, bringing customers in, managing organic social media pages from scratch and things along those lines, and done that for like a couple of years. Um, I wouldn't expect to be blowing up overnight. These are going to be skills that you need to learn. And kind of going back onto my point before, is if you go and talk to some creators, if you haven't already, you're going to realize that running an OnlyFans page is literally being an entrepreneur. You need a very vast number of skill sets in order to put one together successfully. So if you haven't got experience in those areas, marketing being the main one, as that is the main priority for any OnlyFans creator, don't expect to be blowing up and getting rich overnight unless you already have like an established audience. You need to kind of treat it as a learning experience, as a bit more of like a journey where you're going to acquire these skills and grow and progress over time. In terms of what is realistic as an OnlyFans creator, it's kind of impossible to give a direct answer as much as we get asked it all the time. If a creator, like to give some kind of KPIs in our agency, if a creator will work 6 hours per day for us, 6 days per week, is what we would expect. We would aim to have them at $100,000 per month within 90 days. That is our kind of signing, like what we expect when a model signs up with us, as long as they do commit to 6 hours per day. That is the kind of key priority for us. So it's just over $3,000 per day. That's gross numbers, by the way. That is what we expect to bring in. Then as an agency, we take our percentage, and yeah. um but like, but if you're starting off yourself, that is kind of the benefit of an agency, is that you're going to get the shortcuts that they have. So if someone is to join us, that is the kind of expectation that we set for them and that we have of ourselves, to grow that creator up to $100,000 per month. However, if a creator is going to do it themselves, if after 3 months they're at about $10,000 per month, I would say they're doing pretty well. And if they're at like 25K plus as a solo creator, they have done a very, very good job. And I would 100% commend that, because they will have also had to, they're playing a slight disadvantage because we have all the teams already chatting ready to go. We have our team in Georgia ready to handle the social media profiles and dating apps. So we can kind of just hit the ground running when we sign a new creator. We can start putting everything together. So that's how we're able to put things together so quickly. Um, Yeah, and so another thing actually I will say is, just from a psychological point of view, don't be put off by the earnings, because I know that kind of as a creator, your emotions can often be tied into to your earnings. The reason I know that is because I have creators telling me this all the time. They start to think maybe they're not good enough or whatever it is. Your earnings is purely down to your marketing. It's all down to your traffic. Like that, I can promise you that. It's really nothing to do with looks. Um, it's literally about your marketing. If you're not earning enough, I've got a dog somewhere. If you're not earning as much as you would like to, it means that you need to step up your marketing. It's nothing to do with like your personal looks and so on, and that is where you should be putting your main focus. Next up, kind of interesting subject actually. Not that I want to tell anyone what to do with their money that they earn, but when you do start putting this together successfully, you will see significant increases in your lifestyle. Assuming that you're earning like an average income at the moment and you start having an OnlyFans making 30 to 50K per month. Um, this is just some advice that I have from working from creators over the years. Don't go spending all of the money. I think a good target to have is, once you surpass like $10,000 per month, you should put a kind of restrictor on yourself of that you save you save 80% of everything that you earn, and you spend the rest. You spend the other 20%. So you can buy literally whatever you want, whether it's designer clothes, you want to go on holiday to the Maldives, you want whatever, you want to go shopping in London, like whatever it is, spend that 20% and don't feel any guilt about it, is like the best way that I've found to do it. And with that other 80%, you should be looking at doing investments. Most people don't want to be doing OnlyFans forever. There are a few people in the MILF and GILF niches. They're pretty specialist. But most girls would like to come into OnlyFans and do it for a couple of years, get the money, and then go and move on to like the kind of the next stage of their life. And if you do want to do that, my recommendation for you on how to manage the money is invest most of it, and you can invest in whatever you want. Acquiring property is quite a good one. I do think a lot of property has been acquired in Dubai purely through earnings of OnlyFans, and escorting as well out there. You can also, I see a lot of models who are acquiring businesses, purchasing, for example, beauty studios, nail salons. That does happen quite a lot in the UK. But invest that money into kind of anything, any kind of cash flow producing asset is going to be a good one. I think rental properties is like a pretty safe one. The main point is, don't earn all this money. Don't go earning 50K per month and have 50K come in and 50K going out, because it's very easy for your life, like the quality of your life, to catch up with the amount of money that you're earning. It's kind of how life is. Like, you can always find something that you want. And I'm saying this in a €4 million villa, but like the point is when you start stepping up those kind of levels of earning income, which will happen if you're successful at this. Just be very disciplined in managing the money. Otherwise, you will kind of find that you've earned a ton of money, but you've also spent a ton of money at the end of the year. And instead, we have the old saying that the rich get richer, and the reason is because it's easier to make money when you have money. Money can be working for you in a lot of different ways, and when you have this easy money coming in, put it to start working for you. Maybe I'll make another. It's quite a detailed subject to go into, but yeah, just don't go wasting all the money. Spend money, have fun with it. You're working very hard, like you need to, enjoy your life, and I definitely make sure that I do too. But just don't go wasting all of it. Save, be set a limit for yourself. I've given you my one. I invest 80% of what I earn, and I spend 20% of it on whatever extravagant things I want, and I feel zero regrets about it because I know that I've already invested my 80%. Next one, and this is a very important one as well, is often people get caught out on this, which again goes into what I was saying about save your money. Is pay your taxes. I'm not an accountant, so depending on where you are in the world, you're going to need different advice, and I am not qualified to kind of talk to you about that. But once you start having like a decent income, just talk to an accountant for $100, $200, book in like a consultation call with like a good accountant, figure out what it is that you need to do and the best structure that you should have for your business. For example, in the UK, I've known a lot of girls who haven't done this, and they have been an independent, kind of like a freelancer, which has a much, much higher tax rate in the UK than if they were to set up a limited company and put the money in there, and then they would only be taxed on profit. They can write off expenses, and corporation tax in the UK is 19%, and you can also start looking at some more creative tax strategies. So anyway, I can't give advice because people are going to be from all different parts of the world, but my advice is to talk to an accountant. If you do start making serious money, you can also start looking into like 0% tax countries. Like for example, in the UK, I'm British, but I'm a non-domiciled UK resident, which means I don't live in the UK for 6 months of the year, which means I'm not technically a tax resident of the UK. I'm a tax resident of a different country, which means I pay 0% tax in that country because you're able to start choosing your tax residency. So for some of you, when it gets serious, you'll be paying 40 to 50% taxes to the government, depending what country you're in. And you kind of want to make sure that once you start seeing some success, that you talk to a good accountant who's able to advise you on a flexible tax strategy that kind of keeps your options open. Yeah, final point. Take it seriously. Look, this money isn't going to fall out of the sky. OnlyFans is definitely where in my opinion, it's the easiest business to run and one of the easiest ways to make money at the moment. But it doesn't mean the money's going to fall out of the sky. We still have to put in the work. Like I said, it's getting very, very competitive. So you need to make sure that you're kind of one step ahead of the competition. But I think this is one of the easiest money-making opportunities that exist today, if not the easiest, especially with the crypto markets in the way that they are. So yeah, I strongly encourage you to take full advantage of it. Other than that, like feel free to, if you have questions about management of OnlyFans, like I'm on Telegram, I'm on Instagram. I don't quite answer all my messages, but I definitely try to. Like you can leave a comment here, and I also try to get back to most of the comments that are like logical. There are some pretty stupid ones, but anyway. And if anyone is looking for management as well, like you can also apply to join our agency, and we will happily walk you through the process of what it is that we do and how we can help you grow on OnlyFans. Thank you for watching.